Hey guys, quick update from the PicoRAM Ultimate project here with the HeathKit ET3400A. Happy to announce that by now we have PCB revision 2, which fixes a design flaw, right? And so I received new PCBs this Wednesday, and then I assembled the first one yesterday, and it's up and running. And in that process of putting in the 74LS373 transparent latches, I made some interesting observations, right? So I had new old stock gold star latches, and it seems that even though they are fully functional and working, they are not fast enough for the very strict and aggressive timing requirements and demands that PicoRAM has for these latches, right? So these are TMS Texas Instruments ones, and they work perfectly fine, right? So, but some of you already acquired a kit or a PicoRAM kit from me for the old PCB revision. And I think I put in these gold star latches because, I mean, I put them in a ship tester and they tested fine, right? So they are not defect. But I didn't test them in the PicoRAM, and to my surprise it turned out, and I only learned that yesterday, that they are not fast enough, right? So even though they are all LS low Schottky 74 family TDL, another option is also to go for the fast 74 fast series, right? So those should also guaranteed be fast enough to work with PicoRAM Ultimate. But so first things first, so this is the new PCB revision now, and it fixes a design flaw that I had in the first version, right? You can see this here with my ET3400, my first HeathKit, which I own for many years. And what you have to do is, if you install the I/O extension header, you'll also have to wire up the data bus, right? Internally there's cables you need to solder in, and you also need to solder in some control bus signals, for example the read enable signal, right? And the read enable signal is supposed to be pin 6 here, upper and lower row from the left, but I guess because I flipped it around, it got mirror flipped, right? So I put it in on the sixth most position from the right, and of course this will work with my then revision 1 will work with my HeathKit, but not with yours. So the workaround for yours, if you have PCB revision 1 of PicoRAM Ultimate, is as shown here. You will need to route a DuPont botch wire from this pin header here for the jumper, for the right enable signal routing jumper, into the right enable terminal, right? And then the machine works as shown here, right? So this configuration will always work independent of the read enable signal position on the pin header, because this bypass is basically using the signal, right? But of course, originally I designed it in such a way that you wouldn't need a botch wire, right? And of course, this doesn't work now because the machine is not getting a read enable signal. So with a pin header, with the jumper installed here, it works again, but this, like I said, only works on my machine and not on yours, and this is why I so keep using revision 1 with this machine, which I wired up incorrectly, because for my machine it works perfectly without botch wire, but for your machine you would need a botch wire, right? And this is why, of course, this is a bit ugly. This is why I redesigned the PCB. You see, for revision 2, no botch wire required, right? And so that is because when I received my ET3400A that we see here, the read enable signal was already wired up, and it was on pin number 6 from the left and not from the right, and then I realized my mistake, of course, right? So yeah, I'll put the Gerbers of revision 2 on the GitHub soon, and I still need to write a few words about this as well, right? So this was the first point I wanted to make in the video, right? And the second point is, so yeah, like I said, not all of the latches from all manufacturers work, and I just want to demonstrate this. So let me actually pull this latch here, which is now Texas Instruments, right? A good working one, fast enough, and put in this one here, which is new old stock from Jamesco, right? From Gold Star. And let me also put this in the ship tester here. So you see that this tests fine, 74LS373. So it's perfectly fine. And so I put this in your kit when I send it out, right? And now look what happens if we actually want to try to use that in the machine. You will see that it's not fast enough for the very strict aggressive timing requirements that PicoRAM has. Currently it's quite demanding, and you see that the monitor is not running stable, right? So I'm not getting a CPU up, or only, you know, sporadically, and it's not stable. So if you encounter a situation such as this when you put together your kit, or you know, if you just do it on your own without from the GitHub sources, if I didn't send you a kit, right, keep in mind that it may require some experimentation until you find latches that are fast enough, right? So this was Gold Star. Now I also have a Motorola one here, right, which is also tests out as perfectly fine. I'll just straighten out the legs a bit, the pins. Fortunately, these kinds of maneuvers also put a bit of stress always on the sockets, right? And in general, of course, I would recommend for those two latches always use the same brand, right? Don't do mix and match like I did here. But the effect replacing both of them with Gold Stars is exactly the same. It doesn't work. See, and apparently the Motorola also works, right? But I think I had glitches with the Motorola also before, so I would just recommend using the TMS TI ones. They seem to be working best. And another interesting effect is, so this is the inverter here, right? It's just a 74LS NOT gate, and oops, to be careful, I should actually not hot plug this, but I also had an issue with those. So here we have a Fairchild one, 74LS00. I also got those from Jamesco, or Jamco, I don't know how to pronounce them. They are next door here, so they always deliver within 1 day, basically, very fast. Also, this is a perfectly fine, fully functional Fairchild chip, I guess from 1977 or something, really old, right? The company doesn't exist anymore. And that also gave me, well, actually now it works. So at some point it also gave me trouble. So, well, I'm just saying, you know, you need to experiment with the chips until you find something that works. So yeah, after all, this is really very much on the edge of what is possible in terms of switching speeds with TTL technology. And yeah, so best of luck. So, and like I said, if I already sent you a kit with 74LS373 Gold Stars, I'll send you Motorola or Texas Instruments ones free of charge. Of course, I just put them in an envelope. And also you can get an upgrade to your PCB. So some of you held back with ordering one because they were waiting for PCB revision 2. I still have 4 of those now. And see, did you see that? So this just flashed, right? So that means that something is going on with the analog button decoding. The analog threshold values are incorrect. And if that happens, it's usually a sign that something is drawing more power suddenly than it should. So, and I have this 74LS00 under suspicion, right? Because as you saw, that didn't happen with the Texas Instruments one. Or it could also be the Motorola one, which after some point, due to the high switching speeds, doesn't want to run stable anymore. Okay, that's the Gold Star. Oh, this is the TI one here again. So yeah, it can be a bit challenging to get PicoRAM up and running, but once you have the right combination of chips, right, it actually can run quite stable. But obviously this technology is very much on the edge of what is possible, basically, right? And also keep in mind that this hardware is ancient, so the electrical properties of this are probably also not the best. Might also help if you put some more decoupling caps, for example, on the back of the PCB between VCC and ground, right? I only have one here, so that's a bit, not so great, I guess. But for me, they weren't required. I mean, once the thing's warmed up a bit, it seems to be running very stable for me for many hours, but there can be glitches, Alright, so I guess that's what I wanted to share with you. And anything else I wanted to say? Yeah, see, sometimes it's still glitching, and that may also be bad contacts or problems with the sockets. Yeah, so make sure that the contacts are very well established, right? And another thing that I want to highlight is, of course, the importance of the read enable diode, which is in the path, right? So from this read enable pin here, it goes through this diode here, right? D7. So you should actually make sure that this is conducting, because if it's not conducting, PicoRAM can't pull down, the enable pins here of these transceivers, right? And then the CPU cannot read the RAM. So actually this diode, you can also simply short it, right? But there needs to be a connection from this pin here, number 6, to the read enable header. And yeah, if you use a digital voltmeter, I mean, you have to have a voltage drop of 0.5, 0.6, 0.7. And if you short out the diode, of course, then you should have direct conductivity between those. Okay, so yeah, that's it for now. Best of luck, and please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have issues with assembling yours, right? Happy to help. And also, like I said, I'm going to send you another set of latches if you got gold star latches from me. Alright, until then, bye.